What's up, guys? It's Benchez, and welcome to the next episode in Dreamcast Week. That's right, we are jumping into quite possibly one of the weirdest collabs, I guess, or just one of the weirdest, interesting, most fun, I think, third-person, top-down rail shooters out there. And it was released on the Dreamcast, and it goes by the name of Cannon Spike. Yes, that's right. Friggin' Cammy's in this game from Street Fighter. And it's got Charlie from Street Fighter. And Arthur, I don't know if that's Arthur from Ghost and Goblins, but if it is, it's friggin' sweet. And yeah, so we're playing Cannon Spike today in this episode. I'm super jacked because I love this game. It's really fun. If you're familiar with games like Smash TV or just other crazy top-down shooters like that, this game's pretty much self-explanatory. So, we're going to go ahead and play Cannon Spike. And if you're familiar with Cammy from Street Fighter, then you know that's one of her moves. Yes, you can choose from Charlie, Arthur, Sheba, Cammy, and Simone. I am going to go with Cammy because she's my girl. I love her. And here we go. Good. Again, never quite a dull moment when you got a butt like Cammy's. But yeah, one of the crazy things about this game is just you can actually do like your moves from Street Fighter. You can actually punch, kick, and stuff like that. But they're thinking is like, nah, yeah, that's cool. But how can we make the Street Fighter characters that we put in this game even crazier than they are in the fighting game? And then there's like, by Jove, I've got it! Let's give them guns! And just have them just mow down waves and waves of enemies. And you know what? Sega was all like, yeah, I like that idea. Make it happen. Let's do it. And now we're fighting against a fallen Balrog. But if you guys know, Balrog, at least in the Americas anyway, in the Americas, Balrog was actually Vega in Street Fighter in Japan. And I believe Vega was, I want to say it was Sagat, or it could be Bison, because I know it was weird. One of them was Bison, one of them was Balrog, one was Bison, one was Vega, one was Sagat. It was a weird mixture. And then they changed it in the USA, so now when you talk about the Japanese version, it's all confusing and whatnot. And we're fighting the Big Wheel Dragon, by the way. It's literally called Big Wheel. You guys remember the classic Capcom villain Big Wheel, right? The Big Wheel Dragon? Everybody remembers that one. But yeah, it's literally just shoot, fight, punch, kick. It's all the things I love in video games. It's mindless. It's just like, I guess the best way to put it, it's a straight up just video game. It's like, it's not serious, it's not whatever, it doesn't focus on like intricate controls and dynamic gameplay. It's like, nah, dude, just shoot a bunch of enemy robots, kick them, punch them, shoot them, do what you like. It's fun, and I think that's generally what a majority of this Dreamcast week is going to be all about. It's just going to be a lot of just Dreamcast games that I like that are just friggin' fun. I think that's the main thing. Because that was the one thing about the Dreamcast that not a lot of other consoles had during the time of their lifespan. They were good, but some of them just didn't have like just the random fun factor that a lot of Dreamcast games did. And it was like, and don't get me wrong, there are some turds in the Dreamcast library. Let's be totally real here. There are some bad ones, but it's one of those things that not all of them are necessarily really, really good, but there's some of them that are so just out there and just weird and wacky that when you go back and play them, it's just like, holy crap, this is really fun, it's really different, it's really out there. Because I can tell you right now, like, sitting here with you guys, I truly believe there is no plans in any of Capcom's higher-ups or business plans or anything just to be like, you know what we should revive? You know what we should bring back? We should bring back Cannon Spike. We should bring back Cannon Spike and do a sequel, or do a remaster of this game. People love Cannon Spike, right? And I can tell you right now, probably a lot of you who watch this video have probably never even heard of this game. And I'm not trying to make that sound like it's a hipster type of deal or whatever. It's like, oh, have you never heard of Cannon Spike? Oh god, you call yourself a gamer? Ugh. No, it's just, it's one of these games that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people have seen, and I like it so much that I really want to take it upon myself to show it to you guys, because I enjoy it so much. Because again, there's not a lot of depth to it, there's not a lot of whatever about it, it's just a fun friggin' game, and I like it. And it's got sweet Cammy butt. And I think anytime you can get sweet Cammy butt, it's a good day. It's a good day indeed. That, and this just reminds me of, I guess as cliche as it sounds, like the golden era of Capcom. You know, you have some studios or some developers that is like, oh man, this was their golden era. This is when they just kept releasing game after game after game that was amazing. And I'm not gonna lie. If you look at the track record of the Dreamcast and Capcom, there's a lot of really fun, really great games on the Dreamcast from Capcom. It's just, it felt like Capcom just saw the Dreamcast and was like, this is the perfect console for us. This is exactly what we want to do, this is exactly what we want to build, this is exactly how we want to display like our games, our platform and everything like that. Because at the time, right when this was out, the Dreamcast was the most powerful system on the market. Because, like, you had this, you had the N64, and you had the PlayStation. And during that whole section, and that whole time, this was considered the big next-gen console. This is the console that everybody saw. They're just like, oh my god, this is what the future of video games are going to look like. And this is what everybody's going to want to buy, and this is what everybody's going to need. And just, developers saw that. Developers saw that, and they're just like, we want to make games for this console. Because this is literally the home arcade experience in one machine. That's why you saw a lot of games on this, like, that you would see in arcades. And that's the thing, too. Like, Sega, like, dominated the arcade market back in the day. Like, there was no arcade that you could not go to in the early 90s, mid-90s, and early 2000s that you could go there and see a big arcade that everybody would crowd around, and it wasn't developed by Capcom or Sega. It was just one of those things. It made sense for them to work together. And that's why some of the biggest classics on the Dreamcast came from Capcom. It's like, you look at like stuff like Power Stone, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2 was on here. Resident Evil, like, 3. Code Veronica. Just all kinds of good stuff. And there was even random stuff from Capcom on here that you would probably like, that was from Capcom? Like Cannon Spike. Cannon Spike was a game from Capcom that most people didn't know. And there's a few, like, there's even a few, like, shmups, like, rail shooters on there from Capcom, too. Like, some, like, I think it's Giga Wing is one, and, Gunbird, I think, is another one. I could be totally off on one of those, but, like, we're fighting, like the zombie dogs from Resident Evil. So nuts, man. Yeah, man, it just really makes me want Bio Gorilla Bloody. It's oh crap! It's straight up a mutant bio gorilla. He shoots out cockroaches. I'm assuming, yep, those are cockroaches. He's spitting cockroaches. He's super strong. And I mean, this is what I'm saying though, man. It's just like, I wish games would like just be weird and just be video games and stuff like that. Not having to constantly focus on, like, I need 4K high dynamic range and everything like that and all that stuff. Like, we need to make our games look the most realistic because that's what sells. I'm like, dude, realistic games are nice. Beautiful, gorgeous graphics are cool. But, dude, sometimes you don't need all that. Sometimes all you need is just a fun friggin' game and then you're set. You're good to go. There's no reason that you would need any of that extra stuff. You just give me a fun friggin' video game that I can have, like, a good chunk of time playing and having a blast with, then you've done your job. Like, the visuals are nice, and honestly, believe me, especially if you play video games as often as I do, Ah, crap, I lost! I ran out of lives! Oh, nuts. But, like I said, if you do that, and you're like, solely focused on the graphics of a game, graphics go away. Graphics go away really quick. Especially if you invest a lot of time in them. After a while, the visuals are like, alright, that's cool. I'm done. So it's quick for you to lose interest, especially in something like visuals. Because visuals can only grasp you so long before you realize, it's not for me. You know, there's more interesting stuff that I can look at and everything like that. And when you're solely focusing on like graphics and everything like that instead of just raw fun gameplay, I feel that you kind of lose what the purpose of playing the game is all about, you know? And by doing that, you're kind of like limiting yourself on some really fun game experiences just because you don't like the visuals. And I feel like if that's the case, then, you know, you're not really playing the game because you want to. You're just playing it because you want it because it looks good. And trust me, there are a lot of games out there. There are a lot of games out there that look gorgeous, look amazing, so beautifully done, but they're total crap. And I'll tell you this, because again, these games were like $60 when they came out on the Dreamcast. And again, not all of them look great, but you definitely got your money's worth with some of these games just by how much fun they were. And I feel now, especially today's age with modern gaming and everything like that, you get the game, you pay $60 for it. It's not including the expansion packs, the DLC, and all that jazz. But you get all that, and you're just like, okay, I got all this. The game looks really pretty, but the game's lacking a lot. Like, there's like very little in this game for me to play. So you're basically stuck with a pretty $60, like, 2-hour game. So do you feel like you truly got your money's worth? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just me thinking out loud. But then again, when you record a video and then you talk about it and everything like that, you're gonna think out loud. That's kind of how it works. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think visuals are the most important thing in a game, or do you feel like visuals are just a nice extra when the gameplay itself is the most fun part? Just think about that. Like, how much time do you spend on a game that is just visually pleasing to look at, rather than just really, really fun to play? I'm curious. Like, how important are visuals to you? I'm not saying visuals are not important. Because, I mean, it's nice to have a game that looks pretty, but I feel like a game that looks pretty is one thing, but I feel like it's more important if a game is fun to play. Because if it's not fun to play, I feel like you're not going to get your money's worth. But again, this is why I do these videos. I like to have discussions with you guys. I want you guys to enlighten me and help me see things through your eyes, and maybe you can show me a thing or two. Maybe you guys can show me. It's like, hey, you're wrong and you're stupid, so here's my reasons why. Or just like, hey, I agree with your statement, or counter argument with what you're saying, but here's what I think about it. It's like I want us to grasp that, discuss with each other, learn things. That's what we do here, guys. We learn things about stuff. Sometimes we laugh about it. Sometimes we get angry. Sometimes we just, want a sandwich afterwards. But we'll learn something. I feel that's the most important thing. And I feel that here is a good place to stop it. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed Cannon Spike. Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again and again and again and again. I love this game. It's fun. It's on the Dreamcast, and you guys should try to get a chance to check it out. It's pretty hard to find, but if you do ever get a chance to check it out, I highly recommend it. It's totally worth some time. It's worth a look-see. It's worth a look-see. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. So until then, guys, this was Cannon Spike on the Sega Dreamcast. I've been Benchez. I love all your faces. Be nice to everybody out there, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. See you later.